Hi, my name's Frank McKenna. I'm the Chief Exec and Group Chair of Downtown in Business. Delighted to welcome you back to the Downtown Den for our latest in the Meet the Partner series. And today I'm joined by Together Money. Chaps, introduce yourselves if you would.
So Ryan Etchells, been with Together Money now since April 21, but actually started my career with Together back in 2007. So I've known the business a long time, but known the business through a couple of different phases. So I'm sure we'll discuss a little bit about how we came to be and kind of our development, but it's great to have that perspective of different parts of the journey with Together.
Hi, Elliot Vure, the Corporate Sales Director at Together. I've been with the business a lot less, coming up to 18 months, but I head up our corporate sales channel, so all the high-value complex loans, typically £1 million plus. And having joined the business within the past 18 months, it's been a fantastic time to really see the journey that we've been on, to learn from people like Ryan, who've been with us since God was a lad. But no, it's great to be here, and look forward to having a chat today.
Great. So Ryan, tell us about that start of the Together Money journey, because it's a fascinating story, isn't it?
Yeah, and you know what? It's a story that still continues today. So back in 1974, our founder was in the game of used car sales at the time, and he had a car pitch that he was trading from, and he figured out that a great way to support customers was to lend them the money on the vehicles that were being purchased, particularly customers that were maybe being a bit underserved by other banks and customers that maybe weren't getting the opportunity to demonstrate their ability to service a finance agreement, but maybe were being looked at about things that they've done in the past. So he took the opportunity to lend to customers on cars. And then over the course of time, again, spotting market niches and working with the customers and forming them relationships. One customer that had finished his car finance payment was then looking to purchase property and approached the business again and said, look, can you support me to purchase a property? And we did so, and that opportunity to spot market niches and, invest in customers and build relationships, that's what sustained us through 50 years. That is a real big part of our uniqueness, and something I think we'll talk about as we move through. And we've gone from strength to strength, 50 years now in business, and we've never had a year without making profit. There's not many businesses in the UK that can say that, especially through some really challenging economic circumstances, late 80s recession, dot-com boom and bust, the financial crisis, 2008, even COVID, all those different cycles that we've been through over the course of our history, we've continued to make profit, and most importantly, we've continued to be there for our customers and offer them product to meet their needs where maybe other people can't, or maybe other people won't. We've always trusted in our instincts, and we've always backed our customers and really helped them grow.
And Elliot, you said you've been with the business about 18 months now. So Ryan's just said, some big challenges through that 50-year history, but some big challenges over the last 18 months. We're still coming through that pandemic. We've had the Ukraine war. We had Liz Truss for 40-odd days. What are the sort of things that you get approached by businesses at this moment in time? Because there must be some of those that have been challenged, are looking for financial help.
Yeah, absolutely. So I joined the business in, when was it, about February, March 23. So only a few months after Trustgate. And my background, I'm not from a banking lending background. My background is property. So I've got an extensive residential, commercial property background. And joining the business at a stage when every few weeks there was an interest rate rise. There was we had to reprice our products. We had to go out there and inform customers that the interest rates were moving, and it was a troubling time. Thankfully, over the past few months, we've seen that stabilize, and I think the future is looking bright. If not, perhaps longer than we all anticipated it would be. But I think what's really kept us going and really kept us happy with how we deal with customers, it's that relationship piece that Ryan mentioned earlier. We build relationships with customers. We work with our customers. If there is someone that's facing challenges and trouble, we want to know as early as possible. We want to work on a solution which is beneficial to both parties. And fingers crossed, we haven't seen too many challenges. We haven't had too many, customers going into default, but it has happened, and we'll work with those customers when times are hard. And as things start to improve, I think we'll see more appetite coming back. But the UK property market has always been an area where investment and investors can realise their ambitions. We're a small island. Supply and demand metrics dictate that over time the UK property market will remain resilient. So it gives us confidence. Hopefully, gives our customers confidence, and we'll work with them to come to solutions that work.
And you know what, Frank? A great example of that. Recently, about a year ago, there's a big property company that we deal with that we've been dealing with since about 2006. And in 2006, it was quite a small property company. And they were going through some challenges during the financial crisis. And we stuck by them, we extended credit lines. We worked with them to help them get through it. And what was lovely was about a year ago, we received a letter from the board. They're a massive outfit now. And we received a letter from the board resolved minutes that effectively said, in our board meeting, the chairman wanted to acknowledge the great relationship that we formed with Together, the support that they provided during the financial crisis. And effectively, the board gave a special recognition to us as a lender because we were there to support them and we were there to get them through it. And this business now has got funding lines with all the big SME lenders in the UK, but they will openly say to us, our most important relationship is with Together because of the support we provided. And that you can see that through our loan book, all the SMEs that we deal with. You can see those relationships are so important to them because they can give us a call, they can talk through a situation, we will help them and help manage through a situation. Elliot and the team are always there to support them. And that's one of our real USPs in how we go about our business.
That's some testimonial, that, isn't it? There's not many people lining up to thank their financial loan provider. So, yeah, well done. You mentioned during your sort of potted history of the business, Ryan, that, there was second-hand cars, property. It's a much bigger portfolio now. So what are the sort of things that Together Money will get involved in?
Do you know what? Again, one of our big strengths is our broad product offering. And, I touched on it before. The way we go about things is we find market niches and we trust them. So back in the 80s, we pretty much invented bridging finance. It's now, the market is, we've never got a true size of the market, but it's in excess of £10 billion a year now. And we were one of the first to do that in the 80s. We recognised people's need for short-term finance and we helped them through that. Looking through the 90s, holiday lets, the banks couldn't figure out, I want to see 12 rental payments a year. What about 52? We took the opportunity to invest in that. Houses and multiple occupancy more recently, multi-use buildings. We've always identified these niches and then trusted them. And then over the course of time, they've gone from being a market that's got one deal in it to now markets today like Hodlets, HMOs that have got big ones. So we've got a really broad product range and we're constantly developing to support our customers through situations. But, in terms of our product offering, we go anything from a retail mortgage. We do second charge mortgages in the residential space. We'll do commercial bridges, residential bridges. We'll do full commercial mortgages. We'll do development finance. The breadth of our product offering is one of our real advantages to then go into the market and supporting customers with them relationships with Elliot and the team.
And Elliot, is there a sort of upper limit that you guys are looking for, or even, and sometimes this is the question, is that, what's the lowest amount that you sort of prepared to look at?
There's not many lenders that have, a broad product range like we do, but we'll also entertain clients across the spectrum of the market. So we will do a, 2-bed terrace house in Burnley. We'll do a small loan for 24 grand, and we'll go up to, in some instances we've done loans, 20 million pounds, 20 to 25 million pounds. So we can really operate at speed and with flexibility across both ends of the spectrum. We've got teams and we've got departments that will look after customers. They'll give them the same service, whether it's their first buy-to-let property or whether it's a development loan for, a big development site somewhere across the country. So, we've really grown. We've got a business now that's 750 plus colleagues based over in Cheadle in South Manchester. We've got teams spread across the country. So we've got regional, corporate directors from up in Scotland all the way down through to down south in London. And wherever our customers are based will provide a solution, whether it's, like I said, whether it's the first time buy-to-let property or whether they're looking for a large institutional investment.
And we were talking about those challenges that we've gone through over the past 5 decades and those recent challenges, pandemic, Ukraine war, Liz Truss. I do sense at the moment that there's a bit of a, if not feel-good factor, bit more confidence coming back into the business community. And, you know, we've seen this week economic figures, 0.6% increase in the economy in the UK. Are you sensing, Ryan, that things are on the turn for the better?
Yeah, absolutely. You've seen a lot of optimism in our customer base. We did a commercial market report in about February time where we researched a lot with our commercial customers in particular. And the biggest sentiment that was coming through was optimism now. You know, we've had probably Q4 2022 when the whole trust piece happened. Heading into that quarter, we were doing about £300 million of lending per month. And then during 2023, those lending numbers fell a little bit as, you know, the market was a little bit softer. You know, there was a little bit less optimism in the market. In March, we had 308 million again as a business because now you're starting to see that optimism come back. Our largest ever month of lending and our largest number of customers we've ever supported in 1 month. That's a demonstration of the optimism that's coming. And I think as we look through an election year, you know, people will get more and more confidence that, number one, they'll start to, you know, in an election year, the economy does get talked up by both sides because, you know, they want to show there's opportunity in the UK. But then importantly, when you get that decision, you get 5 years of a little bit of certainty. Now, obviously, it might never be 5 years because things change, but you can start to see the roadmap in front of you. So businesses start to recognise a bit of stability, recognise confidence in the market. And we're definitely already seeing that now in the customers that we're supporting.
Yes. And as you say, Elliot, property is probably the one commodity where people feel as though they can invest safely. It's probably property and gold, isn't it? Not Everton Football Club, sadly. So, you know, you're seeing demand on the increase at the moment, are you?
Absolutely. You know, we've always, as a young lad, I was always told kind of bricks and mortar. It's, you know, it's the safest asset class. But when you consider that through constant kind of governments and political uncertainty, property has taken a real beating, you know, over the past few years. There's the perception of the evil landlord, and there's all these benefits that are stripped away and pulled away, whether it's offsetting your mortgage interest or, you know, whatever it may look like. But it's still something that you can touch and feel. It's still something where you know, supply and demand economic imbalance is there. It just needs now a government, whether it's red or blue, to really understand the challenges. You know, we're going through a housing crisis in this country. There's just simply not enough properties being delivered to the market to house all the, you know, the influx of people and young people getting onto the property ladder. And what do you do to support that? The planning system in this country is a real mess. I think there's huge challenges. So whichever government comes in the next few months, I think they need to really look at the planning system and really incentivize developers or give them something to give them the confidence that it's worth going through a development piece. You know, we've just done a report recently that looked at the amount of abandoned vacant properties in the UK. You know, there's over 1.5 million abandoned vacant properties across the UK. And think about what could be done with these properties to, you know, give them to first-time buyers, give them to, you know, developers to bring back to life. But there's just you know, the whole probate system. There's so many different areas which government or local policymakers could look into to really unlock this housing crisis that we're going through at the moment.
Yeah, planning reform's got to be number one on the agenda. If you're looking to grow your economy, if you could get that sorted, that would add so much, wouldn't it, in terms of our economy? Ryan, you mentioned that, you know, that testimonial that you mentioned from the company before. Great story. But, you know, when you look at thinking about banks, never mind wider lenders than that there are in terms of your sector, there's often a criticism now that you don't have that personal relationship. You don't get to see face-to-face the people that are lending you the money, and then you've got to obviously continue to have that relationship with. What I know about Together Money, because we were talking earlier, we met at Mipham in Cannes and we met in London as a parliamentary reception that you guys kindly sponsored for us. You guys are out and about. You can get to talk to, you are on the phone, you can meet up with. Is that an important part of the culture of Together Money?
Massive. So, as an entrepreneurial business, we often take opportunities to zig when the rest of them hack it is zagging. There's no other way of saying it. So, look, for the past 20 years, a lot of financial services industries, they've been going digital. They've been trying to, speak to customers less, and they've been trying to help customers through digital channels. And by the way, that is absolutely fine for those institutions that do that. And, that's their business model and it works. No questions about that. For us, we're the opposite. About 20 years ago, we invested massively in our front end capacity. So people like Elliot and the team that Elliot's got. And that's all about building relationships and being that accessible point of contact and being there when customers maybe are speaking to other institutions and aren't getting where they want to get to. There's another example recently where we're supporting a customer that's got 150 buy-to-lets in their portfolio. And the reason he came to us was because he started getting that relationship with his bank where, over the course of 5 or 10 years, he felt them pulling away and he felt them becoming less and less accessible. And the reason he wants to deal with us is because he wants that access point. When he's seeing opportunities, he wants to be able to speak to a decision maker. So that's definitely part of our culture, and it's definitely over the past 10 years how we've invested. And, we are a relationship business. We do want to make sure that we're speaking to our customers all the time and having these physical engagement, these interactions, because that's how you build that relationship that'll endure over time.
Yeah, I think that personal touch is so important in financial services, and I do fear that certainly the high street banks and others are moving away from it. I think it's dangerous, personally.
Yeah, and you know what? We're just as proud. So, thinking about some of our transactions we do, I mentioned that big property company there, 150 buy-to-lets we've got with us. They've come to us for that personal touch. We're extremely proud of that. And, the team do a great job of dealing with that type of customer, but we're equally as proud. We just did a transaction last month, £88,000 commercial mortgage for a company to be able to buy the premises that they've been operating out of for 15 years. They couldn't get a decision off a bank. The bank kind of didn't think that was probably enough of a transaction for them. They didn't have the relationship with them. We are just as proud as that £88,000 commercial mortgage transaction as that £10 million buy-to-let portfolio, because the way we dealt with both customers were exactly the same, relationship-based, helping them understand what they needed, providing the product that they needed to be able to help them achieve their ambitions. And we operate like that across our portfolio, £7 billion loan book. We bring that same ethos to every customer.
And, I think as well it's important to say, because we're not a bank, we're not holding deposits, our cost of funds are higher than those of a bank. And so our price point is, in terms of interest rates, we're higher than the high street bank. But it's amazing how many customers who have historically been well serviced by the high street, they've been looked after, for whatever reason, whether it's the bank doesn't have the appetite anymore to operate within their sector, or whether it's because they've been too slow, and they've come to us. The amount of people who are willing now to pay a premium just to be looked after, just to have someone on the end of the phone whenever they need, just to be able to pop in and meet the CEO, meet the founder, have a cup of coffee, have a spot of lunch. How many times have you tried to call your bank and you've been put on hold for half an hour, 45 minutes listening to that that whole tune, just wishing that someone would pick up the phone, or you could actually put a face to a name. And that's really where we pride ourselves. It is that relationship. It's it's the biggest USP. We want to be the number one relationship based lender in the UK. And it's amazing how many people, once they've got that service and once they've got that touch point, they just prefer the ease and the simplicity of dealing with it together than the troubles that they're facing with the high street lenders.
And you know what? The best example of it is, this was in the past 6 months, where a customer, he was looking at it was a shopping centre at an auction, and he made the call to someone that a lot of your listeners and viewers will know. Mark Goldberg is our CEO of commercial. Made the call to him at about 6:30 on a Friday evening and said, look, I've been looking at this property. It's got a lot of interest. I need to exchange by Monday lunchtime. Can you give me the confidence to be able to do that? 6:30 on a Friday, we provided the decision on the Monday morning for him to be able to go to that auction, exchange, and we provided the funds think it was 2 days later to actually execute the completion of that transaction. But the ability for that customer to phone at 6:30 on a Friday, not just get an answer, but get decisions to be made over the weekend to allow him to confidence of going to that auction on, on the Monday to be able to exchange on that property. That's the USP that we've built over the course of 50 years, and that's kind of Elliot, the team, Mark. That's the confidence they give customers.
I'll actually say it is a USP, that particularly in the sector that you're dealing with. But listen, Elliot, people don't have to go to Cannes. They don't even have to go to London to meet up with you. How can people who are out there looking to finance some property deals, what's the best way of getting in touch with Together Money?
Look, we work across the country. So as I mentioned, I've got a team up in Scotland, in Yorkshire, in the Midlands, in the Northwest, down south. We're looking to expand across other regions as well. We've, identified the Southwest, South Wales as an area that we'd really like to have a footprint in. But we work with, all the major mortgage brokers across the UK, introducers, accountants, solicitors, tax advisors, wealth managers. We've got, a business that's been around for 50 years. We've got a huge amount of touch points. We invite customers to come direct, togethermoney.com. People can find a way to get in contact with us, whether it is the first buy-to-let property that they're looking to do, or whether it's, a commercial investment property, or whether it's a development that they're looking to do, small scale, large scale. They'll be able to navigate and find the right people to speak to. And the most important thing is you dial that number, you pick up the phone, you speak to a decision maker, you speak to a real person, someone that will be able to assist you, as opposed to going through to a switchboard and sitting there for half an hour not knowing who's going to answer the phone. We really pride ourselves in being real people that make real decisions. And I think what's really important as well is, we won't waste anyone's time. We'll tell someone straight away, either, yes, it's one that we can support you with, or unfortunately, for whatever reason, it's not one for us. We won't leave people waiting on the hook, because speed is of huge value to people these days. And we don't want to waste anyone's time. So we'll either say, yes, it's one for us, and we'll find a way to fund the deal, or we'll turn around and say, no, unfortunately, we can't help, but here's, an alternative option for you.
Fantastic. Well, all the details are going to be in the bottom of the screen and in the biographical introduction to today's Meet the Partner podcast. So have a look there. If you want to get in touch with Together Money, that would be the way to do it. But listen, for now, Ryan, Elliot, thanks very much. See you again soon. Cheers.